Because that's how they defined life. Even if that life brings them many troubles, brings them many crises, brings them many sadnesses, that doesn't matter. It's just what you're supposed to do. Isn't that itself a kind of surrender? It's like ibadah, you can't miss it. How am I going to miss Friday night? Basically, the Qur'an's teaching a philosophy, and that philosophy is either you're a slave to God, either you decide to enslave yourself to Allah, or one of the things I've noticed with these people, I can't say this is a matter of fact, but certainly one pattern that I've noticed is that people that are searching for the truth, Islam is not one of their candidates. They'll consider everything else not Islam. I can't be that one. I'll look everywhere else. What else you got? What else you got? Taoism, Buddhism, any other ism? Any ism? Can I just check it out? Anything new? And then when everything is exhausted, they're like, might as well finish the list. I mean, it wasn't even on my list, but at least I could tell myself I looked at everything. I'll look at Islam. And then all of a sudden, they're trying to judge Islam, and they realize Islam is judging them. They were trying to wrestle Islam, and Islam is wrestling them, pinning them down. I had a very close friend of mine many years ago in college who was staunch atheist. And he, philosophy guy, 4.0 GPA, super sharp in philosophy. And he said, I just did not even consider the Quran. I didn't want to consider it. And eventually when I considered it, you know what I felt like? Because philosophy people, they love debate, right? And he's like, okay, I'm going to have a debate with this book. That's how he came to the Quran. And he's debating this book in his head. He's having these debates with God in this book. He goes, I literally felt like I was in a wrestling match and I was being pinned down every time. And I'd get up and say, you know what? I'm going to try that again. And I'd get to the next verses, next surah, and I'd get pinned down again until I said, you know what? I give up. This is it. Like, I didn't even want to, but that's literally what Islam means, surrender. Right? He intellectually had to surrender because he came to it sincerely, just looking for, is this divine or not? And it pinned him down. You know? أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ, we gave him life. And then, okay, so the person is looking for Allah, looking for guidance, but that doesn't mean they found Islam, but they're looking for guidance. What does Allah guarantee for someone who's looking for guidance? Allah says, وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا يَمْشِي بِهِ فِي النَّاسِ. First part, جَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا. We will furnish light for him. Nuran could be tafkhiman. So this could be, Allah will put a massive light for this person. You should know that one of the descriptions of the Quran, in the Quran, is Nur. And it's also beautiful that in Surah Al-Hadid, it complements the imagery of Surah Al-An'am, Allah says, يَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ نُورًا تَمْشُونَ بِهِ وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ. He will put a light for you, Muslims, that you can walk with. And what's that light referring to? The Quran. And a complement surah to Surah Al-Hadid is Surah Al-Taghabun. فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ وَالنُّورِ الَّذِي أَنزَلْنَا. Believe in Allah and His Messenger and the light that we sent down. So the Quran itself is being described as Nur. Allah will put revelation for this person now. Now they were looking for something, and this light, it illuminates all the questions they had. The idea of looking for answers is you're trying to find something and it's dark. Now imagine the imagery, you're looking for something and it's dark, you can't really see it, and all of a sudden you have light in your hand. I can see everything. Now I know the reality of everything. I know that's what in the dark that looked like something good. When I shed light on it, that's a snake. I'm not looking at you, bro. I'm just pointing that way. Okay. So that's a snake. Oh my God, that looks so bad in the dark. When I look at it, that's treasure. You're looking at the same thing in the dark and you can't identify it. With light, you look at the same thing, you can tell what it really is. They now have an ability to see things for what they are. And that's what revelation does. It makes things clear. This is one of the ways in which the Quran is defined. Al-Kitab al-Mubin, wal-Kitab al-Mubin. The book that makes things clear, because that's what light does. Light makes things clear. I can see your faces, you can see my face because the lights are on. The lights turn off, nothing is clear anymore. So now this idea, وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا. So you see the process here. The person was spiritually not alive yet. I won't say dead, not alive yet, like the seed. Allah caused some stir in them and now they're coming to life. If they show that genuine desire to come to spiritual life, then Allah will guide them to His revelation. This is وَجَعَلْنَا لَهُ نُورًا. Yeah, so Allah furnished a light for this person. Now they recognize that they better hold on to this light for dear life. خُذُوا, like the Israelites were told, خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ. Hold on to what we've given you with all your strength. Just hold on tight to it. Right? So now this person realizes they better hold on to Allah's book. Like Allah says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ. Hold on dearly to Allah's rope. Right? That's the same imagery of holding on to the Quran, holding on, because that's the light. Don't let go of this light. You let go of it a little bit, it'll start drifting away from you. In fact, it won't drift away from you. You'll drift away from it. So you'll find yourself in darkness again. Can't afford that. And so, yamshi bihi fin nas is the next portion. With this light, he's walking with this light now among people. That's the next part of the imagery. He's walking with this light among people. What in the world does that mean? That seems to suggest, here's a person who has light in their possession. Everyone around them doesn't have it. That's the imagery. The imagery is, everyone's in the dark, and only one person has a light on. Now imagine this scenario. There's quite a few of you in this room. Imagine all the lights are off, and all your phones are dead, because those are lights too. But one person has a light on in their phone. Where do everybody's eyes go? The one person whose lights are on. The one person who has light. If there's one person who knows which way to go, or if one person has something of value that nobody else has, it's the one who has light. And there are two kinds of people in the room. One kind of person says, oh, how come he has light? How come I don't have it? Let me talk to him. Maybe he'll help me figure out how I can get some light myself. Back in the day, light was not a phone. Back in the day, light was a torch. And if somebody had a torch, what could you do? You could light your torch with it, isn't it? You can borrow iqtibas. You could do that. So if you did have light, then you can give other people hope and they can find some light. At the very least, they'll just get closer to you. Even if they haven't gotten in contact with you, proximity to you will enhance their vision. That's one kind of person in the audience. Here's another kind of person in the audience. Bro, how come this guy has light? Oh, he thinks he's so special? I'm going to go there and put out that light. If I don't have it, ain't nobody gets to have it. There are some people, they don't want what you want. They just don't want you to have it either. Right? Allah will describe those people too. يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. They want to blow out Allah's light with their mouths. It's a later parable that's coming. But that's the same idea. This person now, he was dead. Something stirred up inside them. They found themselves coming to Islam with this light. That's not enough. Now they're walking among people. You know what that means? They're not hiding their Islam. They're walking among people. And you can tell there's a difference between the one who has light and everybody else who's in the dark. You can immediately tell. So they are standing out now in society. They stand out. They're totally okay being different than everyone else because they see that they have light and they appreciate that. They won't let it go. Now everyone around them says, why are you being weird, bro? What's this light? Just turn it off. What? Well, the rest of us are crazy? Is darkness really that bad? Really? Your mom had darkness. Your grandpa had darkness. Your older brother has darkness. Is it really that bad? You're better than everyone, huh? And he still doesn't let it go. You know, darkness, one of the things about it, the imagery of darkness here is if you're in the dark for a really long time and then somebody turns all the lights on, what happens to your eyes? Turn it off. This person has light, and the people who are comfortable in the dark, what happens to them? Just come on. They can't stand the presence of someone who has light because they're really comfortable being in the dark. This is the life of a person who comes towards Allah when they start walking with the word of Allah and standing by it, and they're interacting with a society that has darkness, but they won't let go of their identity and they won't let go of the light that Allah has given them, and it shines right through them. There will be people in the office that are like, Muhammad, could you pray somewhere else? You know, there's going to be, they can't stand the presence. It bothers them. It hurts them. They don't want to see any of it. This might even happen in some families. Hey, there's an Eid party. You're invited. Can you not wear hijab? Because we want to be normal this time. Can you not? Okay, there's going to be this wedding. Everybody's invited. Can you just not leave when all the crazy stuff starts, when the fun begins? Can you just stay when the fun begins? It's awkward. You're making us feel bad. Can you just accept the darkness, please? Isn't that what that is? This person is being described as being encircled by people that are comfortable in the dark, but they don't run from those people. They're walking among them. The light's enough for them to be able to engage with society, and continue to engage with them. The people might run from them. They're not going to run from the people. There's a powerful example also of our philosophy as Muslims. Muslims are like, oh, we have to move to an Islamic environment. We are living in a kafir country. We're living in a kafir society. We have a kafir job. I'm eating, I'm sitting at kafir tables and kafir apartments and shut up. The entire premise of this ayah is that Allah has given you a light, and the purpose of you having light was so you could go and illuminate an area where everybody is engulfed in darkness. If everybody had a light and you had a light, you're not contributing in any way, actually, because it already exists. Yamshi bihi fin nas. There's actually really powerful imagery here of non-conformity, which I want to talk to you about a little bit. One of the most powerful forces in the world is conformity. Especially young people here, listen to this carefully. Conformity means you want to be like everyone else because that's what's acceptable. You create a standard. The only thing that's acceptable is if you look like everyone else, you talk like everyone else, you dress like everyone else, you behave like everyone else, because that's what everyone has decided is normal. So if you want to be normal, you better be like everyone else. And these ayat are telling you normal is usually dark. The majority of people are usually in darkness. You have to be comfortable holding on to light, even if all the people in the darkness are weirded out by you. And their eyes are uncomfortable. They experience discomfort by your presence. You become comfortable with that. Now Allah says on the flip side, كَمَنْ مَثَلُهُ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ لَيْسَ بِخَارِجٍ مِنْهَا. Is this person example like someone is this the equivalent of someone who is in depths of darkness, the layers of darkness that he won't be coming out of? So on the one hand is a person who decides to walk through darkness with light in their hand. On the flip side, someone who will stay in darkness, not to come out of it. One of the most interesting observations about this ayah, as a contrast from the previous, is at-ta'addi wal-luzum. So you notice the person was dead. Allah says, we brought them to life. And then Allah says, and we put a light, furnished them with a light. Then he says, and then that person walks with that light among the people. What does that mean? The bringing to life, Allah takes credit. Providing the light, Allah takes credit. Walking among the people with light, the person had to make the effort themselves. Allah didn't say, I make him walk. No. Now he walks on his own. But Allah initiated that. Allah initiated by giving him life, providing him the light. But the walking he had to do on his own. If you look at the flip side, Allah did not mention himself. On the flip side, Allah says, someone كَمَثَلُهُ فِي الظُّلُمَاتِ, as opposed to someone, the example of someone who is in darknesses. If you follow the previous imagery, remember the devils were able to pull him down into a dark area? That's all on his own. He did this to himself. And then Allah didn't say, oh, and Allah will not let him come out. That would have been وَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِمُخْرِجِهِ مِنْهَا. Allah will not be pulling him out of that darkness. No. لَيْسَ بِخَارِجٍ مِنْهَا. He won't be coming out of it. Kharij is lazim. يعني لا يخرج منها هو. He won't come out of it. It's not that Allah won't let him come out. He doesn't want to come out. Which is interesting because the one who's moving towards light, or the one who's moving towards life, and the one who's walking among people in darkness is making a lot of effort. It's like going upstream. It's going against what everybody else is doing. And this person is actually comfortable in the dark. He doesn't want to come out of it. He wants to stay in the dark. It's comfortable here. Why in the world would somebody be comfortable with darkness? I gave you an example of somebody who just lives their life sort of carefree, and one Friday night is pub night, Saturday night is club night, or whatever it is, right? One weekend, the next weekend, the next weekend, the next weekend. And these are the same people that are depressed. These are the same people that are taking anti-anxiety pills. These are the same people that are having hangovers and all kinds of problems. These are the same people who can't be in any steady relationships. These are the same people that have trouble trusting anybody or anybody trusting them. They have all these issues, and every one of their friends has some kind of an agenda. They feel isolated, lonely, misunderstood, depressed constantly, but they're doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. You know why? Because they're habituated. They go from one darkness to the next darkness to the next darkness, and they're like, well, I mean, what am I supposed to do? This is what life is. This is what everybody does. What do you want to be weird? Hey, let's not go out on Friday night. Why? Don't you have a life? You should have a life. Because that's how they defined life. Even if that life brings them many troubles, brings them many crises, brings them many sadnesses, that doesn't matter. It's just what you're supposed to do. Isn't that itself a kind of surrender? Isn't that itself a kind of ibadah? When you're like, for Jum'ah, for us, Salatul Jum'ah is, you got to show up for Salatul Jum'ah. For them, Friday night is like, you got to go party Friday night. It's like ibadah, you can't miss it. What do you mean it's Friday night? Astaghfirullah shaitan. How am I going to miss Friday night? Allah is basically, the Qur'an's teaching a philosophy, which I'll elaborate tomorrow, inshallah, when we get to the next parable. And that philosophy is, either you're a slave to God, either you decide to enslave yourself to Allah, or you will be enslaved to someone other than Allah. But you will be enslaved. And only one of them is actual freedom. If you're enslaved to Allah, you will be free from your culture. You'll be free from peer pressure. You'll be free from social expectations. You'll be free from your own bad habits. You'll be free from your lower self. It's a freedom from all things because you enslaved yourself to Allah. If you don't enslave yourself to Allah, you will be enslaved to trends, to fashion, to the group that you belong to. You'll be enslaved to family expectations, corporate expectations. You'll be enslaved to, social media expectations, influencer expectations. You will find other gods to enslave yourselves to. And your behavior won't actually be yours. It will be dictated by one of those false gods. That's what it will be dictated. Either you're enslaved to Allah and you're loyal to your own conscience, or you're enslaved to people or other trends or other forces, and they dictate everything that you do. You have to decide which one you're going to end up, which side you're going to end up. So Allah says, "Laysa bi kharij minha." The last thing from this ayah that I'd like to share with you briefly, كَذَلِكَ زُيِّنَ لِلْكَافِرِينَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. That is how we've beautified for disbelievers what they've been doing. What a strange conclusion to this ayah. To beautify for disbelievers. Allah says that is how whatever disbelievers have been doing has been beautified for them. That's the more literal translation. What does beauty have to do with anything? Purpose. Have you heard the terms style and substance? Okay, if you don't know the terms, look them up. Style and substance. If somebody's delivering a message, it should have substance, right? And then, of course, it should have an effective style. So good communication is a combination of style and substance. But some people are only obsessed with style, which means beauty. Only beauty. And others are only obsessed with substance. Though an easy example of that is the engineering department and the design department. The engineering department is obsessed with substance, function, and the design department is obsessed with style. And you have to kind of bring them together. One of the things Allah is doing in this ayah is Allah is describing the people who found light. They are more driven by substance, purpose. And what's interesting is what used to be ugly in the dark becomes beautiful in the morning. So if you go to a beautiful island, palm trees, woods, forest, and an ocean in front of you, but you go there at 3 a.m. with no lights on, I can guarantee you it's a terrifying place. And that same place by morning, oh my God, if this is on earth, what does Jannah look like? The only difference between the most terrifying place and the most beautiful place is the presence of what? Light. While light is actually mainly directed towards substance, it's supposed to lead you to a destination, light is also the only way by which we can see beauty in this world. That's how beauty is appreciated in this world. But on the flip side, there are people who don't care about substance. All they care about is beauty, style. And Allah says, these deeds that they do, someone has convinced them. Somehow they've been convinced that these deeds that they do are beautiful. And they'll keep doing them and stay in the dark. And they don't even know why they're doing it. Because it's just what you're supposed to do. It's beautified to them. That's all that. There's no purpose behind it. You can't talk about a purpose because it's not about purpose. It's about tazyin. It's about beauty. So there's a contrast made between the people of substance who end up finding beauty anyway, and the people that just want style who end up staying in the dark and make their lives uglier. Summarizing that incredible point, when we live a life of purpose, life gets beautiful. Life itself gets beautiful. And when we live a life running after beauty, life itself gets ugly. Life itself gets surrounded by darkness. SubhanAllah. What a system Allah has made.